We are back. Connor freaking Garland.
Yeah, 3-point night.
Ooh,
Isn't that wild?
yes. What a what a game he had. That block to lead to Suter's goal was legendary.
Yeah, reminiscent of a Kirk McLean save, right? The double stack pad, and it turns into an assist. Like, is that the assist of the year
Absolutely.
so far?
Oh, it's got to be so far. Yeah. And if you ask him, I'm sure he'll say he meant to kick it right to Suter.
Yeah, exactly right. Just like every goal I ever scored was top shelf short side, right?
Absolutely.
So it got a little scary at the end there. Obviously, the Canucks were definitely being outplayed in that third period. Managed to hang on. And I think a big part of that, obviously, we talk about a lot. But Blankinen showed up tonight. What'd you see in his game tonight?
Oh, a huge save coming across on that one short side save there. Just solid goaltending as always. Doing everything he can to give his team a chance to get the win. Luckily, we were able to hold on and get the extra point in overtime. You don't mind giving a point back to an East Coast team because it's irrelevant in the standings, but obviously for morale and kind of game, just as team moving forward, you want to be able to hold on to that two goal lead. So definitely some things to work on, but great signs given the depleted lineup. I mean, overall, the defense played pretty good for most of the game, but this is something we've seen in the past with someone like Myers, who, when he has to play extended minutes, starts to make those mistakes that he hasn't been making recently. Right. And it's gonna happen kind of with a few of the guys. There's gonna be a domino effect with Hronek being out, obviously. So hopefully, it's not long term. But yeah, lots of positive things to build on given what we were icing for a lineup.
Yeah, I mean, and then you just your family's got to stick together, right? They're expansion cousins. We feel bad for them. We don't want them to have all their fans come out for this game in the cold and not get at least a point. So the Canucks were generous enough to give their expansion cousins a point there. And I mean, you look at it too, like the third goal that Buffalo scores, it deflects twice. Goes off Cousin, goes off Tuck's head into the net. They're laughing about it on the bench. It was hilarious.
Just a pinball goal.
Yeah, a little bit of luck there, but sometimes you create your own luck. And I think you can say, even though it was a lucky goal, Buffalo dominated in that period. What did they have? They had 18 shots in that third period to the Canucks 6.
Yeah, they fought hard to get that tie, and good on them. But also good on us and Garland. What a goal between the legs there to take the moment to think about that and not panic and rush and fall over and just tuck it between your legs, knowing you have a wide open net. Like that's a goal scorer's goal, and it was great to see him have a really strong game.
Yeah, another storyline, we don't usually talk a lot about the other team, but I did obviously Dylan Cousins taking a penalty and then throwing a hissy fit, taking another penalty in that box. So ends up putting his team on a 4-minute penalty kill. The Canucks end up scoring on that, but then Dylan Cousins actually ends up, I mean, they don't have him credited. They haven't credited Tuck. So maybe they are actually going to give it to Dylan Cousins, but I thought it went off Tuck, but it looks like Dylan Cousins is currently being credited with the 2 goals that came back to tie it. So shows a guy on the other side who's like, oh, I know I screwed up, and comes back and shows some effort.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, like his hissy fit was kind of warranted, as that holding call he got was clearly a makeup call for the cross check that was called on Pettersson. So couple soft calls there that the refs probably regret making in the first place. But yeah, he did fight hard in the third to get the 2 goals for Buffalo.
What do you prefer? A makeup call, or like if the ref makes a bad call, do you want to see a makeup call? Or if it's a bad call, you just like, it is what it is, right? Some people make mistakes.
I would much rather see it is what it is. People make mistakes. I hate makeup calls because that's controlling the game and dictating the game. Just stick to the rule book and call it as the rules state. And mistakes are going to happen. There's mistakes on offsides and things like that. Like, it's natural human error. But if you stick to these certain guidelines, then you don't end up in situations where you have players getting upset at you. And, we're starting to see it with linesmen even now too. You saw first period there, you saw Bluger going at the one linesman because they're getting this ego that they can kick whoever they want out of the faceoffs, and it's drawing the play on for too long, and it's getting, frankly, kind of frustrating.
The Canucks controlled the play in that overtime for, I think it was 3 minutes in before Buffalo even touched the puck. Like, what amazing control they had winning that first faceoff. But it turns out, like, despite that, Buffalo ends up with 2 shots in that period. The Canucks were literally only credited with the 1 shot. So even though the Canucks had control, they couldn't get it to the front of the net. And overall, ends up with only 22 shots in the game. Despite the win, are you still feeling pretty concerned about the lack of shots from this Canucks lineup?
Absolutely. We talked about it in the first intermission. You just can't live this way. Because if you're not getting the shots on net, the other team is getting the shots on net. So you need to start finding a way. And there were a few times tonight where guys had open looks to get a shot on net, and they kind of double clutched and dumped it off to somebody, or tried to dump it off to somebody. Petey on the 4-minute power on the second half of the 4-minute power play there had a glorious opportunity to shoot, and he double clutched and tried to find Garland. It almost went back on a shorthanded opportunity the other way. So we need to stop that. We need to be confident as shooters. There was another DeBrusque one I think I saw. Just shoot the puck. The puck is not going to go in the net if you don't get them towards the goalie. So we have to figure it out. And I liked Tocchet moving Besser up with Petey. If anyone is suffering from Miller's absence, it's going to be Besser. He's pretty neutralized offensively if he's playing down the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And Sherwood can play with literally anybody.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw it, like the Canucks bench, despite the fact that this is the 3rd game of 4 nights, they actually had a really short bench there. It felt like in the 3rd period. Hoglander, I don't know, like, what did he even see in that 3rd period? Niels Hoglander saw 1 shift in the 3rd period that was 35 seconds long, and that was at the 10:10 mark. So halfway through the period, he got 1 shift. I don't think Ratu saw a lot either. Pulling up Ratu here. Ratu had
Ratu
3 shifts in overtime. Yeah, he wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And then Max Sasson as well. Max Sasson actually saw the ice more than both Ratu and Niels Hoglander with 5 shifts. Overall, Max Sasson ended up with 10 minutes in playing time. Ratu was only at 8 minutes in playing time. And Hoglander, like I said, like, is this guy looking at maybe actually getting sent to the press box pretty quick here?
That or to another team.
Yeah.
When you only play 6 minutes in a game and it's that tight, you got to wonder if maybe there was some word from up top to sit him down because there's something in the works. Who knows? Because I'm sure that it's a fast-moving thing with Hronek and information, and the second they know whether it's long-term or short-term, something's going to be happening. We know Alvin loves to cook, so when you see numbers like that coming in, you start to raise your eyebrows a little bit that something might be going on.
No, I mean, the thing is, at this point, I believe the Canucks literally only have 12 forwards on the team, right? So right now, they couldn't even send them to the press box if they wanted, because they sent Baines down to bring up Mark Friedman. So that's not even an option. So you're right. If he is sitting, that might be a sign that there's a trade in the works. Canucks did come back a little bit in the faceoff circles. At one point during the game, they were down to about 35% winning. They finished the game at about 48%. PD actually looked really good in the faceoff dot tonight.
Yep, did a lot better than last game.
Canucks score on one of their power plays, end up 25%, 1 for 4 on the power play. And then the other one I wanted to ask you about was obvious, and I can't believe it took us this long into our chat to talk about it, but Quinn Hughes with his 20th assist of the season.
Yes, looking good. Ty Nedler, man, are we lucky to have him? Like he is just gets better and better every game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Who knows what he'll end up at this season? Because like we're 21 games in. Or no, that's their 21st game. So he's now got essentially, he's almost an assisted game at this point. So like, would we be surprised if Quinn Hughes ends up with 80 plus assists this season?
No, I mean, he drives our offense from the back end. He's one of the only defense that do right now. So, um, yeah, he's just so good that it's hard to imagine him getting better than he was last year by taking home the Norris Trophy. But on the way he is right now, you got to be talking Hart Trophy, because through these struggles, when the Canucks make the playoffs come April, everyone's going to look back through this time where Miller was away, Hronek was hurt, and all these things. And it's like, okay, Quinn Hughes' first game without his D partner, Phil Hronek, puts up 3 points, or 2 points rather, 2 assists, 2 key assists.
Yeah.
You know, they aren't just like kind of second assists or whatever. They're setting up the play, quarterbacking the play, finding Besser finds Garland. Like, he sees the puck so well, and we truly are lucky to have him. And I just think with the way he's playing, he's got to be up there for some more awards.
More hardware. He probably would have gotten was the Lady Bing too if he wasn't such a goon. So they now have changed the Dylan Cousins. So they now have changed it to Tuck with the header, which you don't see very often in hockey. So the third star of the game ends up being Dylan Cousins. He almost ended up being the reason that his team lost. Come back, gets a goal and assist. Second star ends up being Besser with the 2 assists tonight. And then we all know who the first star was. That's that gargoyle, Connor Garland, with 2 goals and an assist. And then let's see, how many assists is he up to now? He's up to 13 assists in this season as well. And that was his 8th goal of the season. So he's sitting at, quick maths, 21 points so far this season. So he's at a point a game right now at the contract that he's at. He's finally earning that contract that a lot of people had a problem with early, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. And we get 1 more year of him.
So let's
at that price.
Let's change gears because we didn't get a chance to talk about it. So let's have a quick look at the Abbey Canucks.
Yes,
because
of course.
We're on a 4-game win streak. They play tonight, right? I believe they play tonight.
Yep, they play tonight against San Jose against the Barracuda.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you, by the way, for filling in while I was away, updating the chat on the Abbey Canucks. So 4-game win streak. Over that time, they've only allowed 4 goals against, while burying 16 goals for. So they are clicking on all cylinders right now. The play style, actually, I watched the 2 games back and the highlights and stuff, is kind of starting to look reminiscent of the 2011 Canucks. Just the way that Malhotra has designed the defensive structure and the way they attack off of mistakes, is really starting to show. Malhotra obviously was a big part of our defensive strategies back on that 2011 team, and before his eye injury was huge in the faceoffs and that sort of thing. Obviously a rookie head coach coming in and trying to implement new styles and things and build a new system. And we saw some struggles and stumbles out of the gate, but it's really starting to show its benefit. And the team is just really, really working well together as a group. And our goaltending has been fantastic. It's hard to ask for much better than a 1 goal against per game average for your win streak. So,
and I'm just looking at the stat line from the Abbotsford Canucks right now, and you got Kudratsev now with the 3rd most points on the team, playing D, 10 points. He's got 2 goals and 8 assists. What have you been seeing from Mr. Kudratsev down there in Abbotsford on this streak?
I mean, he's starting to get comfortable at the AHL level, and he's looking just like he did last year in the OHL when he set that record for a defenseman. He's really finding his stride offensively. He's realizing that's more what his role is supposed to be, and he's pushing the play a little more. And it's been really good because our guys who are defensive are doing their job, and it's great. I mean, it's kind of been scoring by committee. Oman has been an assist machine. He is now up to 9 assists in 9 games played and 1 goal to get to 10 points. We also have Klimovich and John Stevens leading the way with 12 points each. The difference being the Klim Reaper is now up to 8 goals on the season, and his shot has been absolutely lethal. On the power play, he has been the trigger man, and it is paying off. He has shown some great growth so far this season, and if the Canucks continue to struggle offensively, I would not be surprised to see his shot up on this team because he is really showing that he has a offensive touch and can find the right areas to get open and get that shot through. So yeah, he's been great, and obviously we talked about them hoping to continue the streak tonight in San Jose against the Barracuda, and we will update that bright and early Sunday morning.
9:30 a.m. the Canucks get started. That should be absolutely insane. We haven't broadcast that early ever, so
the onesie will be on for that one.
yeah, I was thinking maybe I just have like a thing of pancakes here while I'm eating, some maple syrup just to have that real Canadian look on it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I did also see Jonathan Lechermack is now up to 6 goals down there in the AHL. He's the second highest scoring player. So you think that because Lechermack already got his chance to have a little taste of the NHL, you feel like Klimovich would get the call up before Lechermack gets the second shot?
I think he's earning a look for sure. With everything he's doing exactly what the coaching staff wanted him to do, and he's showing so much growth that he definitely deserves a shot. So I would expect that call up in the next couple weeks. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. So the Canucks win 4-3 in overtime. Quinn Hughes gets his 20th assist of the season. Connor Garland with 3 points. Buffalo, we don't get to see them again until January, but it's always nice to beat your expansion cousins. The other thing I wanted to point out too, the Canucks once again had more hits than the other team. Again tonight, they had 24 hits to Buffalo's 18. So I don't know if we've seen a game this year where the Canucks got out hit, and that to me says that this team is getting all wound up and ready to go for the playoffs. Do you kind of agree with that?
I mean, yeah, you got Sherwood leading the way when it comes to the hits, right? And like he's got how many games now? I think 5 games with 10 hits. There's one other player in the NHL that has a game with 10 hits recorded in it this season. Like, what on earth did the Canucks score with this guy? How did Nashville let him go for the price they let him go for? It just blows my mind. And I heard something interesting about Sherwood this week on the Spit and Chicklets podcast. Did you know he's allergic to like everything?
No.
He wears surgical gloves under his hockey gloves. He can't get within 10 feet of a jar of peanut butter. He has like the strictest diet of anyone you could ever meet. And it goes right through to his hockey game with his discipline for training and everything. And you see it game in and game out with his hockey sense. He's turned it into a positive because I can't even imagine how difficult it would be to live like that and keep yourself strong and healthy enough to play in the NHL. So, I mean, it just makes me love the kid even more. And thank you, Nashville. That's all I can say about that. Like,
well, I think part of that might be you sometimes see these guys sign with another team and be like, look, Nashville, I'm going to show you why you were stupid. And he is doing that. And he's been doing that all year for us. So thank you very much, Nashville, for handing us Lankinen and Sherwood.
Yes. Just incredible scouting by the Canucks staff there.
Yeah. What do you see against Detroit coming up on Sunday morning?
I see a tough game. Detroit's been putting some good games together here the last week. Starting to find some offense there. So obviously we need to keep them to the outside. They do have some speed and DeBrincat and guys like that. Lucas Raymond and some good young talent. They're rebuilding, but on the up. So the Canucks are going to have to be on their toes. They're going to have to come out hard. I know it's going to be tough playing 9:30 a.m. our time. You obviously can't get your normal routine in and things are kind of uncomfortable, but you know what? Sometimes it's better to play uncomfortable And with the Canucks, it's on the road. So, I predict a win.
Yeah.
Can we just play the rest of the season on the road?
Yeah.
Because
9-2. I guess the one thing that is not too bad, and I mean, obviously Detroit has to play at 9:30 a.m. as well. I don't think Detroit plays many games in the morning.
no.
But the nice thing, obviously, this is going to be their fifth game of the road trip. They do have the day off tomorrow, so I guess they won't be skating or anything like that. But it's one of those things where you're gradually getting there too, right? Because Pittsburgh was a 4:30 game, today was a noon game, and then you got a 9:30 game. So it's not like they went from like a 7 o'clock game to a 8:30 a.m. game. So hopefully that kind of easing it into it. Be interesting to see if Detroit has a game like the day before or whatever, but I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I think, Detroit does play back-to-back because I do believe they play tomorrow.
So what time? I'm just going to look this up right now. What time does Detroit play at tomorrow then?
Let me check.
I
think they do. I wasn't.
So Detroit
100%.
played today, so they won't play tomorrow.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They lost to New Jersey today, so their next game will be so. But yeah, another noon game, so kind of the same situation. So the Red Wings and the Canucks are on the same circadian rhythm. So I mean, it should be a little more weird because obviously it's East Coast versus West Coast, but at least, like I said, the Canucks are kind of easing themselves into it.
Yeah, they've been in the Eastern time zone for long enough now that most of the guys should be acclimatized, and hopefully we can see a good game and we can push some shots, more shots to the net.
Be nice to get it up to 10-2 on the road.
Absolutely.
Then the Canucks have one more game on the road trip, I believe, which is the Minnesota game, right, on Tuesday.
Yes.
And then a 2-day gap, and then so we're both saying Thatch Demko gets on Friday, December the 6th. And we got Minnesota, like I said, on the Tuesday at 5 p.m. So a little bit earlier game as well, but there'll be a nice big gap because they're playing at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, welcome back. Thanks again for the 10 gifted subs. That's very generous of you, brother. A lot of people are excited to be able to use all these crazy emojis that we have ready to go. So any last words for chat before I let you go, brother?
Just happy to be back. Enjoy the gifted memberships. Just keep doing what we're doing. Love to be here. Love what you're doing, Russ. And have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll talk to you Sunday morning.
Nothing is perfect.